Welcome to Swolehammer. Even though we love the frantic action of Warcry and the skirmish gameplay of Kill Team, there's something to be said about fielding a big army. Hence why I started Starting Sigmar. For whoever is new to the channel or series, the mission of these videos are to help new players make a fun and efficient army from a specific faction, rounding out to a 1,000-point list, which is the lowest tier of competitive play. We also want to make it easy to acquire these items and enjoyable to hobby with. The criteria are as follows. We avoid making lists with repeat models. Models need to be easily accessible either from a Games Workshop store or Amazon. I like to support local, but sometimes prices can't be beat online. All models suggested are in plastic, and we only focus on armies with the current edition's battle tomes. We're in the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar. Some armies still only have their 2nd edition rules, and I don't want to do videos on them until they get their new rules because the videos will go out of date quicker. So join me as we go over the conniving Skaven. So why play Skaven? With crazed models ranging from horrid creations like the Hell Pit Abomination to genre-bending technology such as the Warp Lightning Cannon, you have a plethora of trinkets to choose from. Even though most of the range is metal and resin, we'll still go over a lot of cool plastic models you can collect. The gameplay for Skaven is thematic and unhinged, in the way that you'll either blast your opponent off the board, or you'll kill yourself in the process. Then the ability to weave together seamless synergies throughout, Skaven truly embody chaos. Also, if you just really like getting the song Rats by Ghost stuck in your head, you're in the right place. As I mentioned before, the models that I choose for these lists are plastic only, so I consider this one of the harder armies to collect for beginners since majority of the army is metal or resin. So I have not done one list, but 2 for y'all today. So let's start with what I'd consider probably the simpler of the 2 to collect. We have the brand new Skaven Vanguard box, a Warplock Bombardier, and just for extra spice, a Doom Wheel. Yes, I found a Doom Wheel actually pretty readily available on Amazon, weirdly enough. And altogether, this creates a 1,000-point list that is going to cost around $200, depending on how much you really want to spend for that quick availability. I found a $45 Doom Wheel on Amazon, which is higher than MSRP, probably because of the new Battle Tome and just gougers. But either way, this is list number 1, a mixing of kind of a couple of the clans that you can go for in Skaven. Now on to list number 2, and this is starting with the clan Pestilens Start Collecting. This is the old Start Collecting, but it's very readily available still. Then we have a Vermin Lord Corruptor, which honestly, if you are into Skaven remotely, you'll probably just want to pick one of these up because they are a badass model. One of the reasons I started collecting Skaven myself. And then a box of Plague Monks and a box of the Plague Claw. This being said, you could just buy a second Start Collecting. As I said in the criteria, I like to avoid that. And you don't really need a second Plague Priest on Plague Furnace. It's pretty excessive even for Skaven terms. So you can do what you will. I personally just avoid collecting unnecessary plastic. This list will cost you a bit more, almost around $250 depending on the route you go. But if you want to battle in the name of Papa Nurgle and the Great Horned Rat, this is a great way to start off. Now getting right into the lists, we have what I call the Master Clan Skaven list. The leader options are the Grey Seer and the Warlock Bombardier. The Grey Seer from the Vanguard box being your general. Your battle line being the 20 Clan Rats and the Storm Fiends from that same Vanguard box. The Warlock Bombardier is here to buff the Storm Fiends and to make the Storm Fiends battle line according to the requirements in the book. Next you have the Warp Lightning Cannon from the Vanguard box, and the Doom Wheel you bought separately. I just think the Doom Wheel is super goofy, swingy, and fun, but can also hit hard, so it's a very fun and cool inclusion if you can get your hands on it. As I said, I like the idea of kind of mixing the different clan synergies together, and this is one of the most fun ways to possibly do it. But let's say Warp Mayhem isn't your steez. Well, let's give you some plague to spread instead. With Swolehammer's Clan Pestilens list, we use the Vermin Lord Corruptor and make him our general. The Plague Priest from the Start Collecting box, we're not using him on the Plague Furnace right now because it's a very expensive model and kind of cumbersome for newer players. Next up, for your 2 required battle line, I have 2 units of Plague Monks, 1 reinforced to be a block of 20, and 1 as a block of 10. Then, the 2 artillery options are the Plague Claw you get from the Start Collecting box, and the Plague Claw that you bought separately, or if you got the second Start Collecting box. This way, you still have ranged push, you have a swarm of rats on the board, and you have a Plague Priest sending out prayers and a Verminlord Corruptor absolutely slapping things in the face. One of my favorite lists that I've actually ever made. So that's it. I had to do a mega episode for my love of chaos and make 2 lists because I'm just so excited about this new Skaven battle tome. But if you have any suggestions, chaos, death, destruction, or order wise, let me know in the comments and what you want to see, or if you made a list that's all plastic that someone could easily collect as well. As always, this is Rafiq from Swolehammer. Stay swole.